Oh, they can find it. I don't want to talk about it. COVID, we can't ship it. Oh, COVID. Oh, yeah, we put them in so late. Oh, yeah, we put them. We went to Raleigh yesterday, got flax and deal with but they wasn't made. It's like school grade and stuff and all that kind of stuff for 4-H is like, oh.
Good morning. It is my honor to welcome each and every one of you to Saratoga High School's 2020 commencement ceremony. 2020 graduates, it is a fantastic achievement for each of you to have made it here today. I am proud to share this moment with all of you. Trust me when I say that this class is filled with young adults that will have a lasting impact on the world we live in. I am extremely proud of every student in the class of 2020, the leadership they provided to Saratoga Middle High School, and I can't wait to watch how each and every one of you will make a positive difference in the years to come. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jason Williams, Saratoga High School teacher, senior class sponsor. He will now lead us in prayer.
Dear Lord in heaven, we humbly come before you this morning, and we thank you for this opportunity to celebrate these young men and women. And while we celebrate their past successes, we also lift up their futures to you. Father, I pray for each and every one of these young people. I pray that you would bless them and bless their steps. I pray that they would seek a life of purpose first and prosperity second. I pray that they would seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. I thank you, Lord, for each and every one of them, the blessings they have been to Saratoga Middle High School, and the blessings that they will continue to be to the people around them. I thank you for the plans you have made for them as they leave this place and make their way in your world. In Jesus' name, amen.
I would like to welcome to the mic our guest speaker of today's commencement ceremony, Saratoga Middle High School teacher, Mr. Rex Honhold.
Welcome 2020 graduates of Saratoga High School, as well as your parents, family, friends, and loved ones who are here to rejoice along with you on this memorable day. I'm both humbled and honored to be asked by you to celebrate and possibly extort a few words of advice in the midst of this great period of uncertainty. Without doubt, you're not experiencing the traditional graduation ceremony we are all accustomed to witnessing. In spite of this, the The reason we are all here today is to validate rewarding accomplishments in meeting the requirements for graduation and help you and your family celebrate your life-changing experience as high school graduates. Your commencement day will be remembered like no other graduation day in our lifetimes. Something I read recently about this great pandemic said, your after will not look like your before or your during. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty moving forward throughout this period in time. You, like most of us, might feel lost, cheated, or uncertain about what the future and what it holds for us. But don't let these last 2.5 months destroy or ruin the great accomplishments you have worked 12 long years to achieve. We want you all to know that you matter and that all of us know who you are. All the triumphs, tears, and failures have been brought here today. Cherish the good times and learn from the unpleasant ones. Both help shape your lives and provide us with meaning and understanding. But don't let the unpleasant ones define you and cause you to give up. Each of you should be proud of the work ethic you have displayed and dedication you have shown and commitment necessary to making this graduation day a reality. By becoming part of the 2020 graduating class of Saratoga High School, you have provided yourself with a multitude of opportunities, limited only by your creativity and imagination. Wanting to or not, you will be the graduating class that had be both resilient and adaptive. By graduating, you not only adapted, but you persevered. Probably a little bit better than some of your teachers, especially myself. Heck, most of you know that I'm still trying to figure out hashtags and LOLs. My point is that educators, if we are open, we learn as much from you as you learn from us. You are shaped by all experiences, and by sharing those experiences with others, you are also shaping lives with the same people. This nation and world is in desperate need of the class of 2020. And sitting here before us today in caps and gowns, like it or not, you have moved into adulthood. You now have choices and can impact this world positively or negatively. You can become engineers, doctors or nurses, firemen, bankers, teachers, veterinarians, miners, truck drivers, construction workers, ranchers, or a waitress, or be part of the great military protecting our freedoms we sometimes take for granted. Whatever you do, please think of others and how you can impact the world and the people in it. So I'm going to share a couple stories here with you real quick. Hopefully they'll all make sense in the end. It's hard to believe that I get a little bit of wisdom from my younger brother, but here's what I'm going to share with you. The other day, my younger brother was on a rampage of sorts about the world and the people in it. He's retired, living in the mountains with very few neighbors, and way too much time given thought to issues affecting us in our country. My conversations with him are very one-sided. He speaks and I listen. Well, on this day, he said something to me that really struck a chord. He said our nation is in trouble because we have generations of blamers instead of achievers. Think about that for a second. Generations of achievers and blamers. That fits you? I don't think so. He then went on to clarify what he meant. He said society is filled with people who don't know how to work hard at the things that mean the most, such as family, jobs, and especially the people they come in contact with every day. They work harder at trying to make themselves look good that will often do so at the expense of others. When something doesn't go their way, the first thought is to find a way to twist it, so it must be someone else's fault. I don't say these things as a descriptor of your class, but I only create an awareness of societal issues that exist in our country, especially since I'm around you and watch how graceful you interact with your peers. This is not you. Don't let it become you. In retrospect, look what this pandemic has done for all of us. On March 16th, one day after I found out that we weren't going to have school the next week, my second grandchild was born in Denver, Colorado. That same day, all the hospitals shut down and visitors weren't allowed to come in. The next thing I see on the TV and the internet are showing the shelves in stores are completely bare. My son had called me a couple of days before I left for Denver and said, have you been listening to the news? He said, it's crazy here in Rawlins. No toilet paper, bleach, meat, chicken, milk, eggs, baby wipes, noodles, and hand sanitizer, just to name a few. Immediately, I went into a panic mode. Not for myself, but for my children. What would they do without some of these essential things we have always taken for granted? I got up early on the next day on a mission. I was the fifth person in line at Costco in Denver, Colorado. 10 minutes later, there were 200 people in line. The talk in the line was obviously toilet paper. There's no toilet paper anywhere. The Costco employees were happily to greet those people and say, we have some. So I felt good about my chances. I knew exactly where the toilet paper was in the store. So I towed the line and made a mad dash to that area. The gun goes off, and how a person can go from 5th place in line to 30th place in the toilet paper section is beyond me, but I did it. I did it without falling down or slipping or anything. I was outdone. So I get in line just like everybody else and move toward the toilet paper section. And as people get theirs and we move forward, I can finally see the end, and I can see that I'm going to get toilet paper. And I'm so happy and proud that I can help my daughter and her family. 2 people in front of me. There's 5 cases of toilet paper left. The lady, 2 people in front of me, grabs 3. Even when so many people were in line, she had the ability to grab 3. The next person, thankfully, only grabbed 1. And I grabbed the final one. I grabbed it, and the 40 and 50 people behind me got none. I felt guilty going around Costco with toilet paper, shopping for other things when other people had none. I thought about that over and over. I had plenty while others had none. The next morning, I shamelessly repeated the same process, this time for my son. I was a senior citizen shopping this day, as 2 hours before the normal hours, you're able to go in and shop. So it does pay to get old. By the time the door opens, there's at least 400 people in line snaking their way into the parking lot. Again, the employees said they have plenty of toilet paper, eggs, milk, and chicken. How much? Nobody knew. Doors open, and I am on a mission after yesterday's fiasco and moved from the top 10 to the top 5. And I was in line, and I got mine. I don't know how much toilet paper was there that day. What do I do know? There was plenty. So I check out a line, and as I was leaving, I hear a lady who was further back, way back in the line, talking on the phone to someone as the line moved through. When she got off the phone, and I know that she's panicked, I tell her that, ma'am, there's plenty of toilet paper in there from what I can see. But see that truck right there across the parking lot? She nodded with approval. I said, that's my truck. If you go in there in that store, when you come out, I'll be waiting for you. And if you get none, I'll share mine. So she did go in the store because they were limiting things. She came out about 15 minutes later, and I was happy to see that she was able to get the toilet paper she so desperately needed. As she walked towards my truck, she said something that made me feel awfully proud. She said, the first thing I noticed was your truck had Wyoming plates on it. And because of that, I'm not surprised that you are still here, as you said you would be. I grew up in Casper, Wyoming. Thank you for giving me hope when I entered the store. So a kind exchange between strangers, as I mentioned in the story, because of you and I are from the great state of Wyoming, we have a heritage to be proud of. In addition to that, it reaffirmed my deep-seated affirmation about you can give hope to other souls. You will be given and improving your own soul. When you do that enough, it can take you to a place of self-fulfillment and happiness that is unmeasurable on earth. As I'm sitting here today, I want you to understand the panic our country is enduring. People in our state, for the most part, aren't worried about dying. They're worried about how they're going to live. We have people without jobs to take care of their loved ones, which in turn should affect all humanity. Many of our own town have felt the loss of employment and don't know where they're going to do. People are scared and who wouldn't be if you didn't have a way to feed your families. This is real, but the only way to solve problems of pandemic is to start somewhere. And I really believe it starts with personal act of kindness for all of us to show our true empathy for our fellow man. I don't agree with all the lyrics of Tim McGraw's song, Humble and Kind, but I definitely want to embellish the humble, kind, please, and thank you. You see, random acts of kindness can transform people. It spurs hope, faith, love, and self-confidence. With these attributes as part of the human soul, you can always hope that they will play it forward. So what have I described to you this morning? What is this all about? What is this old gray-haired man trying to describe to you? I have just described examples of the observable traits of compassion and empathy you, the 2020 graduates of the class of Saratoga High School, possess, not only for each other, but those you come in contact with on a daily basis. It makes me very proud of the association I have had with all of you. Yes, it is true, I only have been associated day to day with some of you in sports and maybe a weights class or two, but I am not surprised or naive to the indelible legacy and culture you have exhibited and are leaving behind for generations of younger people to follow and emulate. Please never forget your roots and continue to grow and define the attributes that have gotten you here to this amazing day. We all can improve at anything. Make your platform one of pride and commitment to improve. Remember that failure is not what defines a person, but how you respond to it that makes the difference. That true values guide your lives. In other words, do what is right, not what may feel right. Never forget your own path to happiness and self-fulfillment is through helping others and choosing a path that makes you happy. Both should be lifelong, so nurture them with heartfelt sincerity. Again, I want you all to know that you matter, that all of us know who you are, and thank you for the grace you shared with all of us. May your God, my God, or your spiritual beliefs guide and bless you as you move through this journey of life. Congratulations again, class of 2020.
Seniors, at this time, please turn your chairs. This time I would like to introduce you to the salutatorian of the class of 2020, Lauren Mills.
So I was going to make a coronavirus joke, but then you'd have to wait 2 weeks to see if you got it. But to ensure clear communication with the social media generation, hashtags and pop culture references will be used. Hashtag you're welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am thankful to be able to give a speech on this beautiful day as the salutatorian of the class of 2020. Let me first welcome the graduating class. I'd also like to acknowledge parents, grandparents, and relatives, except for those who, for some reason, didn't give us any graduation money. Loyal friends, except those to whom we owe money. Our teachers, coaches, and administrators for helping and encouraging us to get this far. And finally, our fearless custodians for always cleaning up our messes, which there were a lot of, BTW. Graduates, I don't know if you know me, but I'm Lauren. We went to high school together. Those were good times. Follow me on Twitter. And I want to congratulate everyone, including myself, for being here today. The world that we live in is plagued with dangers. Global pandemics, nuclear war, cyber attacks, global warming, teenage drama, facial acne, and despite all the odds, we still managed to graduate. So give us a big round of applause. 4 years ago that we came to the labyrinth known as high school. Think about all the different music and fashion trends that we lived through. As young, timid freshmen, we danced to every Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, and Ariana Grande song. We did the whip, hit the whoa, and tried almost every Fortnite dance that was humanly possible. We said lit and bruh as if we were supposed to. Thank goodness we're gonna be yeet now. We anticipated our catastrophic doom at the end of 2016. And back then, Saratoga High School didn't have any windows. Oh wait, it still doesn't. I know, it was a cliche joke, but it was still necessary. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. As sophomores, we sort of got the hang of things by the Taekwondo challenge. As juniors, we gained more experience and felt the first hint of senioritis. These last few years have been an adventure. There were things that none of us will ever forget, like every time Mr. Cloyd roasted someone, or the time Mr. Mercer screamed in the middle of English class and freaked out Mr. Mills in the class next door. Hashtag good times. We have now raised over $10,000 in scholarships and inhaled hundreds of cans of spray paint. And now, here we are, done with high school, done with the stressful days of ACT and YTOP testing. This is the final chapter in our high school musical, and it's time for us to find out what we'll do next. Ulysses S. Grant said, "The art of war is simple enough. Find out where your enemy is, get at him as soon as you can, strike them as hard as you can, and keep moving on." Graduates, we have won our first war, high school. At last, it's time to move on, to figure out what we will do now, to find and pursue our passions. Dr. Seuss stated, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose." So graduates, what do you want to do with your life? Get rich and famous? Hashtag me too. But you have to start somewhere. Start here. Go to college, serve your country, serve God, start working. It doesn't matter, but do something. Many of the most successful people in the world started their lives as regular people, just like you and me. For example, Jeff Bezos, the creator and CEO of Amazon. He started as a normal kid growing up in Miami. Bezos began his company in his garage where he messed around with computers and electronics. He then went to college, got a degree in computer science and electrical engineering, and began his company. Within 2 months, he was making about $20,000 a week. Amazon is now the largest online company worth over $1 trillion. Jeff Bezos is a perfect example. He did something after he graduated high school, and look where he went. One of the most famous Star Wars characters, Yoda, said, "Do or do not. There is no try." Now, graduates, go and do something. Pursue your passion. Good knowing all of you, and I truly have been #blessed. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very, very best. Thank you.
I'm proud to introduce to you the valedictorian of the class of 2020, Taylor Bennett.
Good morning, Dr. Copeland, board members, Mr. Jennings, Mr. Schmidt, administration, teachers, staff, families, friends, and fellow classmates. First, I would like to start off with some thank yous. To my parents for loving me, teaching me to be a good person, being the best role models, and being my biggest fans. To Whitney for pushing me to be better and providing cheap entertainment along the way. To my family for always supporting me and being there when I needed them the most. To my classmates and teammates for making this a fantastic, memorable journey. To the teachers, principals, and staff for teaching me more than any book ever could and genuinely caring about my success. To my coaches for always believing in me and pushing me to be a better athlete and person. And to the community for supporting me and our class through the good times and the tough times. Wow, what a crazy start to 2020 this has been. Who would have ever thought that we would be finishing our senior year at home during a pandemic? I know that this is nowhere near what we envisioned things looking like 4 short years ago when we began high school. Who would have thought we would be at home recording our graduation speeches a week before the ceremony, a ceremony where we have to be 6 feet apart from everyone? Who would have thought we would be learning at home for the last quarter of our senior year, having our last class over a terribly awkward Zoom meeting? Who would have thought that people would be fighting over toilet paper and that Charmin sales would be up 700% from last year? But even though this year has been very different and not ideal, it has made me realize 2 important things I would like to share with you today. First, it has taught me to try and look for the positive, no matter how hard that may be. Walt Disney said, "I always like to look on the optimistic side of life, but I am realistic enough to know that life is a complex matter." This is good advice anytime, but right now it is more important than ever. So I challenged myself to find 10 good things about our senior year and graduation. 1, the cross-country team brought home another state championship. 2, the volleyball team got second at state. 3, the boys basketball team won the school's first ever championship. 4, we got a 3-week spring break. 5, we found out how much everyone really cares about us. 6, I have gotten to spend some quality time with my family. 7, many people, including me, found out that going to school wasn't so bad after all. 8, we are the first class with an outside graduation and beautiful view. 9, I wasn't late to school once in the past 9 weeks, a new personal record. And 10, people were kind enough to sponsor and display banners and yard signs honoring our class. Now, I would challenge everyone else to try and continue to think positive and be thankful for what they have, which brings me to the second lesson I learned, which is to cherish every moment. Dr. Seuss said, "Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." I have many fond memories of high school, from float building during homecoming to Whitney eating it during volleyball practice and everyone rolling around laughing, or trying to get everyone coordinated to take a class picture on Zoom. These past 4 years hold countless memories that will be cherished for a long time. I remember starting high school and only wanting it to be over, and now here we are at graduation and I can't believe we're already done. I remember going to the basketball banquet on March 12th after a day of school and then being told that weekend that we wouldn't be going back to classes. It's crazy how fast time goes and how we can forget to cherish the little things. But all of this has made me realize how important it is to live in the moment and appreciate everything, because you never know when it will be over. So smile big, laugh often, and never take anything in this life for granted. I want to once again thank everyone who has helped me in any way along this journey, and I want to congratulate the class of 2020 on their accomplishments so far, wish them continued success in the months and years ahead, and remind them that they can prosper no matter what life throws at them. Now, more than ever, laughter is the best medicine, so I would like to end with a joke. But due to the quarantine, I only have inside jokes.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Lauren. At this time, Saratoga High School graduates, please stand for the awarding of diplomas by Superintendent Jim Copeland, Board of Trustee member Karen Condit, and Saratoga Middle High School Counselor Amy Johnston. Taylor Lynn Bennett, daughter of Rod and Lori Bennett. Aubrey Marie Berger, daughter of Jack and Diana Berger.
Thank you. Thank you.
Emmanuel Cielo, son of Jose and Martha
You got
Cielo.
it.
Kylie Sage Consine, daughter of Sean and Kim McBride, and Scott and Angie Consine. Jenna Nicole Dew, daughter of Eric Dew
you want
and
to do this?
Michelle Dew.
Okay. Just so everyone can see you.
Cole Michael Dickinson,
Don't
son
talk.
of Chester
You've got
and
it.
Christina Dickinson. Leandro Escobedo, son of Santos and Soledad Escobedo.
Okay, so do you want to leave it or put them on there? Okay. That's cool.
Christopher Anthony Foley, son of Michael and Susan Foley.
Congrats. Okay, go for it. Where's it going?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Across the
Joseph David Gonzalez, son of David and Deanna Gonzalez, and grandson of Tony and Susan.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Orion Dusk
You want to
Goodman
do the song?
Well,
Zimmershine.
they're putting one on their diploma. Do you want to do that? Congrats. Go ahead, just go around and then.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Jaylyn Shea
Congratulations.
Hunter, daughter of Stone and Cheryl Hunter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Micaiah Shea Johnson, daughter of James and Lisa Johnson.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Riley Elizabeth Little, daughter of Darren and Dana Little.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Lauren Stephen Mills, son of Christian and Mindy Mills.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Wonderful speech.
Richard Logan Seahorn.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to try to take two.
Daniel Smith,
Good idea.
son of Brent and Mandy Moon, and Jonathan Smith.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Haley
Oh, yeah. We're
Elizabeth
gonna take
Wells,
both.
daughter
He
of
turned his
Ryan and
hand upside
Melody
down.
Wells.
On your diploma. Upside down and set these on it. How's that?
That works.
Okay. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Logan Riley
Congrats,
Wells,
Haley. Thank you.
son of Ryan and Melanie Wells.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats.
They're having a group talk.
Throwing up the hats is amazing.
I know, because a lot of times you pin it to your head and then it's terrible to throw them.
Superintendent Copeland, members of the Carbon County School District Number 2 Board of Trustees, faculty, parents, family, and friends, I am proud to present